What's up, YouTube? For those of you joining me, you're probably like, why is he just now posting the review? Been waiting on it. It's better late than never, right? Honestly, so I went to see it the 8th, the early prom screening, and I will get to how phenomenal the movie was in just a second. Um, I wanted to post a review. I actually recorded something that night, but I was so exhausted. So I put it off. I wanted to redo it. And as time went on, I got really busy, and obviously that shouldn't be an excuse. But I wanted this video to be good because I'm a huge Superman fan, and I want y'all to know how from the heart my review will be. You know, it's not just a review to review something because Superman means a lot to me. So I want you guys to know it's a movie review, DC Studios, but it's also my favorite superhero at the same time. So I did go see it again. I wanted to actually see the movie again. I wanted to get everything refreshed in my head, and I wanted to go and see if there was anything I might have missed, but also just wanted to experience it again. That movie was so good the first time around, I had to catch it again. There's people going 3, 4, 5 times. I don't know how many times have you guys gone? But I went twice. I could definitely go see it again, but I'm at the point where I could wait till it comes on HBO. So let's dive into it a little bit. The beginning. I don't know how long, and let me say I don't know how long this is going to be. I hope I don't make it too long and bore anybody. So if you are here, thank you, and let's talk some Superman. And if you want to put something in the comments, go right ahead, and I'll try to get back to you. I love seeing, me being a Superman fan and this being the first movie in the DCU. I love seeing everybody's reactions to this movie, and there's so many positive ones, and I love seeing that. I'm happy for everybody getting to experience it just like I am. So the beginning, we have the intro. I love how they did it. Before the movie came out, I saw where Gunn said something was going to be like Star Wars at the beginning, how they did the intro. And then I saw it and I understood what he meant. The words up on the screen, getting the audience caught up to the present. I like that. We've seen Superman's origin so many times. Most people going into this movie would know it, but I'm sure there's a lot of people that don't. So it was a great idea to put that up on the screen, tell everybody where Superman came from, and bring everybody up to date on what's going on, and then dropping us right in the middle of the action, or dropping Superman right into the snow. Superman gets healed. I guess what was it, 83%? Goes back into action, but backing up a little bit, when he is flying out of the fortress, the flying scene, the smile into the camera, and then the camera going right to the crest on the chest, and then that bringing up the movie title, that was really cool. I like how they did that, and then he's going back and continuing his fight with Ultraman. Then, of course, the kaiju. We see the Justice Gang. Justice Gang, they're nailing their roles. I'm really looking forward to seeing more of them in the future. Lex, he nailed his role. We've seen some good Lexes in the past, and I can honestly think of a few right off the bat. But this Lex, he did really good. You need a good Lex for a Superman movie, and also when you're going to see more of them in the universe. So obviously he got arrested at the end. They're sending him to Belle Reeves, so that makes me think, oh, well, he might break out, and we'll see more of him in the future. So we'll see how that plays out. A lot with a lot of the other events that occurred in the movie, that leads us to wondering and speculating what's going to occur down the road. How soon will we see something? Probably Peacemaker, which will be next month. Super stoked about that. We did see a cameo of him in the movie. I believe the events in season 2 of Peacemaker will take place after the events of Superman, is at least what I heard. But obviously, with it all being connected, overall, that is really exciting. And I'm ready to see that. Lois and Clark, or Superman, should I say, because we did see more of Superman, but we did see her and Clark as well. But anyway, their chemistry, they nailed it. I love how they had their first meeting in her apartment, and then they met again while the gang was fighting the interdimensional imp, which leads a lot of people to believe that's either Mr. Help me out, guys, Mixoplex. I might have pronounced that wrong. A lot of people think it might be Batmite, but we'll see. But that's pretty cool. So we'll see that in the future as well. We know that they exist. But that scene where he is talking with Lois, about why he does what he does, why he's on Earth to do good, to be a good man. Wow. And we know that movie, obviously that's what this whole movie is about. Him being good, wanting to do good and help people. The symbol of hope. But he lets Lois know that, because all he heard was the first part of the message. He's there to be a good man. He wants to turn himself in hopes that helps him find Krypto. Krypto is not a good dog, but he's out there alone, and he's probably scared. Lois goes to hug him. Superman tells her he loves her. But if you back up just a little bit, where he's sitting in the seat with I want to say it's either coffee or tea, I can't remember. But anyway, that's not the point. But he's sitting there sipping his drink in the chair. That made me think about is it Alex Ross painting? It's an image out of a comic, and you see him sitting in the living room chair in that same position. That's what that made me think of. But then the movie goes on, fights Ultraman, fights a kaiju, saves a dog, saves a squirrel. Some key parts that I noticed in the movie that I definitely wanted to talk about in this video, because I can't, if I sit here and talk about every single scene from the movie, this video will drag on for a long time. But one other thing that stood out to me is when Lois, Metamorpho, the baby, when they jump back out of the pocket universe, Lois goes over to Clark, Superman, and when Superman is getting up and he's saying that he's talking about having to go help people, that instantly made me think of the Christopher Reeve Superman. So, of course, there's a lot of parts that made me think about him. Of course, this movie drew inspiration from a lot of different stories, a lot of different iterations of Superman, And of course, we got the classic trunks, classic suit, and the suit, overall the suit was great. Suit was totally great, man. The classic yet kind of modernized Superman suit. And guys, for those of you that don't like the trunks, for one, that's who Superman is. I get it. You want a modernized suit. Why do we need trunks? It's 2025. I believe that was a great start for his first movie, to have the classic trunks. There is plenty of room for him to get new suits down the road in this new universe. We will see plenty more of him. He may have another suit with trunks. He may have another suit without trunks. But I'm sure we will see more suits. Getting towards the end of the movie, fights Ultraman. He goes into the black hole, which leaves us in speculation of what will happen with that. Will we see him again? Metamorpho is going to join the Justice Gang. And of course, we all got the cameo toward the end of the movie. Supergirl. We will see her next year in 2026 alongside Jason Momoa as Lobo and many others. The second part of the message from his parents, it was cool. In the first time I saw the movie, I was like, what? What is this? But I honestly didn't know that was an alternate storyline, but I can believe it. There's a lot of storylines with Superman, a lot of different ones. So James Gunn used that, and I'm down for it. It worked out because his parents raised him to be a good man. So despite of who your biological parents is, it's, his earth parents raised him to be a good man. And also they remind him, or his pa reminds him, that it's his choices and actions that makes him who he is. That's a good story for anybody to hear. That's why I believe this movie is so good, and it couldn't come out at a better time. And then at the end, he's laying at the fortress, and he uses his parents to sue them again, this time being his earth parents, being the Kents. I was a little skeptical at first with the music that they used right there at the end of the movie, the first time around. But, I accepted it. I get why they used it. It's just, the first time I watched it, it kind of felt, like I was watching a Shazam movie in a way. I don't know if that makes any sense to you guys. Because that was kind of the style of that movie. But it makes sense to me, and I can accept it. It's an uplifting song at the end of the movie, and it should be. But you also got Superman smiling into the camera. A lot of people thought he might fly. Will he fly out into space like Christopher Reeve and Brandon Routh? Will he smile into the camera? He didn't fly into space, but he did smile into the camera at the end of the movie. And we got some good uplifting music. The reason they used that music, a bunch of you guys know, is because they were talking about that earlier in the movie. They used the band that he likes in the movie, along with videos of his parents playing to soothe them. But yeah, like I said, I can go on and on with this. But the movie overall was incredible. It was a little different tone than what we got in Man of Steel. Man of Steel, I'm no hate, guys. I don't know why everybody is, fighting which one is better. Just like them both. If you're a Superman fan, like them both, man. I can say, Man of Steel wasn't as bright and comic accurate as this one that we're getting. It's not that that's a bad thing. It's a different, it's a different take on them, and that's okay. I enjoyed it when we had that, but now I'm glad we're getting this interpretation of Superman. To me, it's kind of like, it's like a mix of, you're getting Fletcher, you're getting Christopher Reeve Superman, it's like, all-star aspects, all-star Superman, and a little bit of Superman the animated series brought to life to me. And I loved the animated series, man. It was incredible. And so many others that I loved, but I'm not going to get into all that. That would take a while. It's a great kickoff movie. I couldn't be more excited that they used Superman to start the universe. They could have used anybody else, but, either way, it was a great choice. And I'm happy to know that we're going to see more of him, and as well as many, many DC characters. We'll have Batman the Brave and the Bold. We'll have Wonder Woman. I believe that's being fast-tracked. We have Peacemaker coming up. We got Lanterns. We got Supergirl, Clayface, and many more. So, man, dude. I guess it's happy times for DC fans, Now, the Superman movie overall, it was phenomenal to me, dude. It was such a good experience. It was so fun to watch. You had some, emotional scenes, happy scenes, and, we got a lot of the John Williams music throughout the movie. I think it was played at great times. I think they might have overused it just a tad, but that's just me. But that's okay, man. It was great to hear it. and there was a lot of good moments where it was used perfectly. So as far as grading it, guys, that might be impossible. I don't think I could do that. That's too much pressure. Overall, guys, the movie was absolutely incredible. Let's just say that. And I could definitely watch it again and again. When it comes to HBO, I will definitely be watching it in the comfort of my own home. So many good Superman movies and shows that I've seen growing up, and it was just so great to have another one to experience. Just ripped straight from a comic, man. Let me say this, another scene that I didn't mention that I want to mention to you. After he put Ultraman down, told Lex, good luck with that, went up. Krypto took the helmet off the guy. He punched him in the mouth, knocked his teeth out. Oh, everybody was like, oh, he could literally obliterate his face. Yeah, he could, but he held back. As some other punches you saw in the movie, he punched. That wasn't the only guy he punched. So he's not gonna kill the guy, but he can control his strength. But anyway, yeah, he punched the guy, knocked his teeth out, hit the glass. That was kind of clever. But when he flew off and all of Lex's men, I can't remember their names. Raptors? Is that it? When they started piling up on him and he started doing the spin like a tornado, dude, that was like you're watching something animated come to life, literally. That was so cool. And then they went to the crest on his chest, just like at the beginning of the movie, and then used the heat vision, spinning around. That was a cool moment. I like that. But guys, yeah, there's my review, reaction, however you'd like to word it. So we will have more DC Studios coming. We have Peacemaker coming next month. And maybe we'll get another trailer release. I don't know if any of you guys heard anything. I know there will be some events going on at Comic-Con. What is that, San Diego? So we might see a new trailer then. We did already have the teaser. So maybe I'll catch you guys on that, if not anything sooner. So those that subscribe, thank you so much. If you don't, even if it's as simple as just leaving a like down below, that way I know you stopped by and hung out with me and listened to me talk for a little bit. Thank you guys so much, and I will definitely see you in the next one. Again, if you saw Superman or you're going to see it, post a comment. Let's hear it. All right, y'all. Appreciate it.